What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. The setup for today is going to be super straightforward. Yesterday we had a fantastic win, and hopefully we're going to follow it up today with another win. Before I get into it though, just a quick heads up that Blueprint is going to be closing in 5 days. If you have been following me for a while and you can see clearly that the system works because I've been publicly documenting my trades for the last 230 trades or so over the last year and a half, I have about a 78% win rate on the system on these calls that you guys see on this channel. If you see that this works, and if you've tried to apply this, but you feel like, hey, you know a few pieces, but you don't have the full picture, this is where Blueprint comes in. If you'd like to just get consistent with trading, then check out Blueprint because it's really going to change your life. But with that out of the way though, let's get into the video. Now, if first things first, we're going to kick things off with the daily buys, which is bullish at the moment. So we're going to be looking for longs today. And the fact that currently to start the day we have been bearish is a really positive sign because that leads us up to some sort of a power of three, right? Below the daily open, you want to look for buys and then to just basically ride the wave towards the upside during the true daily expansion. Again, the weekly target is still en route. Like mentioned this already a couple of times throughout this week, but we are still en route to the weekly target. So we're still just going to be looking for longs here. And thirdly, we have a very clear PD array in this order block right here that price is currently retracing back into. I think, in my opinion, there are only two ways that this plays out today. First of all, is that we get a confirmed CISD, I'd say somewhere along the lines of like 66,600. If this happens, like fantastic, we're definitely going to jump back in. Like as of right now, sure, price is, at some sort of a retracement level, price is at some sort of a support level, but one of the key things, and this is going to help you out a lot if you find yourself getting, faked out by a lot of currently. In terms of the 1 hourly order flow, you have gotten a bearish CISD and in general, you are in bearish order flow. Now, I know some of you may be quick to point out that this is, Elliott wave 1, 2, 3 before A, B, C, D, E or whatever. I get it. But all of this is still based on predictions. And now the way that we make this less of a kind of prediction and to just make it more systematic is by understanding when order flow shifts. So the earliest indication that order flow can shift is at 66,350. If you get a candle close on one hourly chart above this level, it basically shows you that the market is interested in higher prices. Because at the moment, right now, you have a bearish order block, not only one, and technically, if you want to draw this whole thing, three, right? We're into three levels of like different potential levels of resistance at this moment. All I want to see is for at the very least for one of these to get broken, to get closed above, to kind of get disrespected, to let me know that, hey, in fact, the market wants to go up. Because right now, with the daily buys being bullish, that is my thesis, that is my idea about the markets. Secondly, with this support level, that is also my idea about the markets. What's important is that the market also needs to confirm and agree with your idea before you can get into it. This is where the CISD comes into play. So this is going to be an early CISD, which I personally would not recommend because you can still make the argument that, okay, yeah, CISD, well, we're still in this bigger order block. So ideally, I would like to see a break above 66,600 or ideally even a candle close. And at that point, I'll be genuinely interested. Now, if we don't get that on Bitcoin though, no worries at all because we can still look at other charts like Forex, which I will get into in just a bit. Now, in terms of the 5-minute chart, like another very positive sign for today is the fact that we have swept below the Asia lows during London, which if you guys know what that means, basically throughout the day, you have three major sessions. You have the Asia session, you have the London session, and you have the New York session. These are the three major market kind of like financial centers in the world. And with these three kind of times being like hotspot timings, they each have different characteristics. Slightly different characteristics. So in the Asia, it tends to act as accumulation, where basically it sets the range for the day. Now, if you are bullish on the daily bias, ideally you want to see the London session sweep below the Asia lows to basically like manipulate towards the downside to force everyone into thinking that, oh yeah, price is going to head towards the downside. But in reality, this is going to be just manipulation where New York is going to distribute towards the upside, right? London stops everybody out, tricks everyone into thinking the market's going down, and New York is going to distribute the other side. So this is so far what I'm going to be looking for. But it's just that all of this is still my idea at the moment. Now, if there are some of you that are a bit more aggressive, the truth is you have already gotten a CISD on the 5-minute chart, right? Don't get me wrong. Alongside the fact that we have a bullish daily bias, price swept below the Asia during the London, followed by a CISD, like, don't get me wrong, this is already a valid entry. Now, am I going to be making a call here and risking you guys' money on what is clearly a lower probability trade? No. But is the idea there? Absolutely. So in the event that some of you here are watching and you find yourself to be more of a risk tolerant kind of trader where you don't mind taking on a couple of losses, but if you see a good setup, like ideally you don't want to miss it, this is perfectly valid. Now, the official call, the safe call, is going to be at the very least some sort of a candle close above 66,300 and ideally 66,600. Now, does that mean there's going to be a likelihood that I'm going to miss out on this entry completely? Absolutely. But at the same time, you gotta remember that trading is about a game of quality, right? You don't like if you can maximize, if you can ensure that you are only taking the highest quality kind of trade setups, sure, you can trade less, but you're gonna make a lot more money in the sense where your win rate's gonna go up. Like me having a 78% win rate throughout 230 trades over the last year and a half or so doesn't come by accident. It's a discipline to be okay with missing certain moves in favor of better ones. Now, secondly, is that win rate aside, you are also going to have a lot more conviction behind your A+ trades, where basically, if you get into a trade that you clearly know is like a C trade, then chances are you're not going to be willing to risk more than, a few $100s, well, depending on your capital size. You might not be, like, just the idea is that you're not going to be willing or brave enough to risk a proper amount of money because you know deep down in your heart that this trade setup is a C setup or is just a bad setup and you are taking it because you just want to take a trade or you just wanted to force something. When that happens, even if you win the trade, guess what happens? You don't make much money. But if you think about it another way, if we take on this approach where we're maximizing our trade quality, guess what? We know for a fact that this is an A+ setup, and because of that, we are going to be much more willing to put on a proper amount of size behind it. And even if it only ends up, for example, this trade right here, as an example, is 2.55R. If you're able to risk, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 on this, you could easily make $5,000 on the singular trade alone, and you're going to make more than the people that are trying to scalp their way, like taking 20 trades a day, but they're only risking $10 behind every trade or $50 behind every trade. Like, you're going to make way more money than them in so much less time. And this is just like, yeah, if you want to know how to make trading easy, the answer simply lies in doing less. It's not about doing more, it's doing less, but better. And by the way, this is just one of the things that we teach you exactly how to install inside Blueprint. Like, knowing a theory is fun and all, but you got to actually be able to execute this. How do you differentiate between what is an A+ setup and what is an A setup or a B setup, right? If you've never differentiated this before, well, guess what? Blueprint's going to give you the full picture. But either way, like, I digress. Just getting into some invalidation scenarios here. Like, one of the core things that we do not want to see is obviously when price comes into this order block right here, there is a chance that it will continue heading towards the downside. My recommendation is that you want to wait for the New York session, basically 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and you're going to see if price is, like, you're just going to want to watch the reaction of price when it's in here. At the very least, you do want that hourly CISD, but if not, then like, yeah, I'm more than happy to sit this one out as a no trade day, which, by the way, feel free to follow me on Twitter where I'm going to be posting all of my trade setups. For example, yesterday, like, I called the idea on YouTube and then I posted the exact entry, literally just told you guys, hey, place a limit here, place your stop loss here, and kaboom. This is, this is just how trading can be easy once you have a proven system. But with that out of the way though, like, just feel free to follow me on Twitter if you want to get access to, just all of this. It's not being gated behind some signals groups or whatever. But the reason why I brought up the browser is because I wanted to find out where, President Trump is going to be speaking today. Interesting. So that actually means that today there is going to be some piece of news. So yeah, we might even get a late day move today in the sense where we're not even going to come all the way down here before 3 p.m. or even 2 p.m. And the telltale sign for this is going to be, like, if price comes into this range, like into this level of resistance right here, and we just continue chopping around the entire morning, then you guys know for a fact that the market is setting up for a late, kind of afternoon move during New York. And if that is the case, then most likely I'm not going to be trading, especially in the morning. So just keep in mind that while the idea is there, you guys really do want to wait for confirmations here because, like, this completely changes the game. Like, now I wouldn't be necessarily too aggressive because we have news later down the line. And when you have afternoon news, something that happens very commonly is that the market actually chops around during the morning to kind of engineer liquidity on both sides. And then prior to the news, you're going to sweep out the high or you're going to sweep out the low, and then you're going to go in the direction of, wherever the market wants to go. But the key thing here is patience, because, like, if you jump in too early, especially in the range, then yeah, just get prepared to get stopped out first before the move hits your TP within 5 minutes. Just something to watch out for. On the other note though, I don't really see other news like we had GBP earlier today and we have Australian dollar next morning. So like generally nothing too much else to talk about. Like if I do get into any Forex setups, I'll try to post them on Twitter today. But one thing's for sure, if I don't see anything on Bitcoin, like you guys already know, I'm going to be looking at Forex. But outside of that, I'm going to see you guys later on X and in tomorrow's video. Ciao, ciao.